Welcome to episode number 351, where I'm talking about edema or swelling, which is a common complaint during the hot weather. It's also a common sign of aggravation in many conditions. And so today I'm talking about the Ayurvedic approach to edema. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. Hey there, and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. It's Colette today for a solo episode on edema or swelling and the Ayurvedic management of this condition. I have mentioned edema very frequently on this podcast as a sign of aggravation in various conditions. And in fact, I mentioned it recently in my episode on the disorders of udaka, vaha, srotas, which is the hydration channel, and rasa, vaha, srotas, which is the plasma channel. It's also a very common condition that happens during hot weather and pregnancy. And it comes up so often that I've decided to devote this entire episode to edema, or shrota, as it's known in Ayurveda. First of all, let's start with a definition of edema, because while edema is swelling, it's very different to the typical type of swelling we think of. Edema is swelling caused by excess fluid trapped in the body's tissues. Now, edema can affect any part of the body, but it's most common in the extremities, like the ankles, feet, legs, arms, and hands. So edema involves the accumulation of excess fluid, while on the other hand, swelling is the increase in size of a body part, often due to injury or inflammation. And this could include many types of fluid like blood, lymph, or pus, while edema is the retention of interstitial fluid, which results in a puffiness or spongy feeling in the tissues. And when you press on the area with your finger, the impression will stay like a dimple in the skin. As I mentioned a moment ago, edema appears as a sign of aggravation in many conditions, and here are some possible causes of edema: a sedentary lifestyle and prolonged sitting or standing. High salt intake can also result in fluid retention, a doshic imbalance, impaired agni or a digestive fire that's not functioning correctly, and ama or toxins in the body. It could also be due to an allergic reaction or infection. And due to a medical condition, as I said, edema is a sign of imbalance in many conditions, particularly conditions involving the heart, the kidneys, the liver, or the lungs. Edema can be a side effect of medication too, like high blood pressure meds. And edema can also occur during pregnancy and hot weather, and I'll explain why in a moment. So some of the symptoms of edema are swelling or puffiness of the tissue directly under the skin, especially in the legs and arms, stretched or shiny skin, skin that retains an impression or dimple after being pressed for a few seconds, increased abdominal size, and a feeling of heaviness in the legs. So let's take a look at the Ayurvedic perspective. The srotas, or the channels of the body, are made up of the dhatus, our tissues. If a srotas is flowing normally, we have good health. However, when a srotas or channel is adversely affected, our health is then affected also. The doshas flow through the srotas, and therefore, if there's a dosha aggravation of vata, pitta, or kapha, it can affect the function and the structural integrity of the srotas, the channel. In Ayurveda, shrota or edema is primarily associated with imbalances in the kapha and vata doshas. And I'm going to dive a little deeper here and talk about the specific subdoshas of kapha and vata, which could be vitiated in edema. So let's start with some kapha subdoshas like Cladika kapha, which is located in the stomach and is responsible for lubricating the digestive tract, When cleidocca kapha is imbalanced, it can lead to an increase in the bodily fluids and mucus production, contributing to fluid retention and edema. Bodica kapha is located in the mouth and is present in saliva, aiding in taste and swallowing. An imbalance of bodica kapha can disrupt the fluid balance in the body, leading to excess fluid accumulation. And then avalambika kapha is located in the chest, the heart, and the lungs, and is responsible for support of the chest region. Vitiated avalambika kapha can lead to congestion and fluid retention in the chest area, contributing to conditions like pulmonary edema. And then let's take a look at the subdoshas of vata, which can be vitiated in edema. Apana vayu is located in the colon and pelvic region and governs elimination of waste products and downward movement of energy. When apana vata is imbalanced, it can affect the proper elimination of fluids, causing fluid retention and contributing to edema. Vyana vayu is located in the heart and throughout the body, and its function is to circulate blood, oxygen, and nutrients, and it facilitates the movement of fluids. An imbalance in Vyana vayu can disrupt fluid balance and lead to improper fluid distribution, causing or exacerbating edema. The most commonly affected srotas in edema are the rasa vaha srotas, the plasma channel, and udaka vaha srotas, the hydration channel, both of which I just discussed in recent episodes. But rasa vaha srotas is responsible for the transportation of lymph, plasma, and essential nutrients. When there's an obstruction or constriction in the channel, it leads to improper fluid management and can result in plasma leaking from the blood vessels into the interstitial tissues, resulting in edema. Udaka vaha srotas is involved in the distribution and excretion of bodily fluids. Dysfunction in this channel can lead to fluid retention and edema. For example, if we take in too much water and the agni or digestive fire in udaka vaha srotas is slow and weak, then excess water cannot be digested and can accumulate in the cells, leading to edema. The Ayurvedic diagnosis of edema or srota involves a comprehensive, holistic approach to determine the underlying imbalances and causes. And we can do that by going through the following with a rogi, looking at any underlying health conditions and issues with the heart, kidneys, liver, diabetes, and medications that the rogi may be taking, in which case they should consult with their doctor if they're being treated for other medical conditions. Observing the affected areas, determining the rogi's prakriti or unique constitution and vikriti, the current imbalance, and evaluating the status of the agni, which is the digestive fire, and if there's a presence of ama due to poor digestion and metabolism contributing to fluid retention. By the way, if you want to check if you have a presence of ama or toxins in your body, check out the toxin quiz on the homepage of my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com, and I'll put a link in the show notes to that. But the other things you want to check with your rogi are investigating which doshas, subdoshas, and shrotas or channels are vitiated, and of course, a detailed inquiry about their diet and lifestyle, and assessing the impact of stress, anxiety, and emotional disturbances, which can have an influence on dosha balance and fluid retention. Once the individual assessment is completed, a holistic program needs to be tailored to the rogi's specific imbalances and lifestyle to address edema and its underlying causes. Treatment focuses on balancing the doshas through diet, lifestyle, self-care, and mindfulness practices, which will manage stress and emotional health, and of course, herbal remedies to support the body's natural processes in removing excess fluid. And so we're looking at which doshas and subdoshas are aggravated. Now, if kapha and kapha subdoshas are vitiated, the focus will be on detoxifying, decongesting, and using diuretic herbs to help get rid of that water retention. And it's really important, if there's kapha imbalance, to avoid heavy, oily, and salty foods. And it's important to bring in light, warm, dry, and easy to digest meals.
It's also important to make lifestyle modifications to include more stimulation for kapha and activity, reducing the sedentary lifestyle. Along with more movement and self-care practices like dry brushing is a very simple one you could do at home, where you're taking that brush on the skin from the extremities towards the heart. And this can really help to stimulate circulation in the body, particularly for those who are experiencing kapha stagnation. And then if vata is vitiated, the focus will be on supporting circulation and promoting elimination and fluid distribution with practices which promote blood flow, like abhyanga, which is the warm oil massage, stress management techniques like yoga, meditation, and pranayama, and living in tune with the circadian rhythm and having routine, which is very important, along with pacifying herbal remedies. Bringing in warm, oily foods and maintaining hydration with warm drinks is going to be really important for vata. Now, I mentioned earlier that edema can occur during pregnancy, and this is due to the extra fluid in the body and the pressure from the growing uterus. And it can also occur in hot weather due to the heat causing the blood vessels to expand. This causes fluid buildup in the nearby tissues, leading to edema, especially in the legs and ankles, which is the most common heat edema symptom. Some simple tips are to move regularly, elevate your legs as much as possible to promote circulation, and compression socks can be extremely helpful to promote circulation also, particularly if you're sitting for a long time. Cleansing is also recommended to eliminate any accumulation of toxins, any accumulation of doshas, reset the Agni, the digestive fire, and to help restore balance. And I want to let you know that my next discounted group cleanse will be on October 4th. And you don't have to wait till then if you want to do a cleanse, because I do offer private cleanses throughout the year where you choose your own dates. But in the group cleanse, we have a private online community where we can connect, support each other, and hold each other accountable. And even though this is a group cleanse on October 4th, it's individually tailored to each person because it comes with a 90-minute online consultation with me. So I can determine if you have a current imbalance that needs to be addressed and tailor the food, self-care, yoga, pranayama, meditation, and everything else to you and your lifestyle in order to make this cleanse easy to manage while carrying out your day-to-day responsibilities. And as I said, if that date of October 4th doesn't work for you, you can do a private cleanse and choose your own dates. And in a private cleanse, you have me one-to-one for support. Check out these options on my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. For the group cleanse on October 4th, go to the events page. And for the private cleanse, you'll find that under programs. And I'll put those links in the show notes also. I also offer online consultations where I can address any imbalances and put together a detailed, individualized strategy for you, your diet, lifestyle, self-care, mindfulness practices to help you address any imbalances and help you maintain balance. And if you like to study by yourself, I offer my online Daily Habits for Holistic Health program. This is a 28-day self-paced program with the objective to help you live in tune with the circadian rhythm and educates you on how to become your own healer. And if you have any questions before you book any of my services, please take advantage of my free 15-minute online services inquiry call. We can hop on Zoom and I can answer any of your questions about my services. So there you go. There's an insight into edema, which, as I said, is a very common sign of aggravation and something that's common during the summer months. So I hope this information helps. If you know anyone who's suffering from edema, please share this information with them and this Ayurvedic approach to managing edema. If you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so, and the new episodes will automatically download for you. And if you find you're getting benefit from this podcast, I would really appreciate a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can find me on social media. My new Instagram page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. And on Facebook, I'm under Elements Healing and Wellbeing. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.